Good afternoon. Today I will take a class on acute myeloid leukemia. Acute myeloid leukemia is a tumor of hematopoietic progenitors, and it is caused by the acquired oncogenic mutations that impede the differentiations, leading to the accumulation of immature myeloid blast in the bone marrow. Acute myeloid leukemia occurs at all ages, but incidence rises throughout the life. Now regarding the FAB classifications. This French American British classification is based on morphology and cytochemical staining. As per FAB classification, acute myeloid leukemia is classified into 8 subtypes, that is from M0 to M7. The World Health Organization classification is based on the concept that different subgroups of acute myeloid leukemia can be defined as unique disease through correlation of morphology, cytochemistry, immunophenotyping, and cytogenetics. Now, in this context, I like to mention that as per WHO classifications, disease associated with specific genetic abnormalities can be diagnosed as acute myeloid leukemia regardless of the blast cells count in the peripheral blood or bone marrow. That means if we get the specific genetic abnormality in case of acute myeloid leukemia, the 20% criteria of blast cells in the marrow or in the peripheral blood is not essential for the diagnosis. Now the classification, that is a FAB classifications. You all know that it is of 8 subtype. M0, that is the acute myeloblastic leukemia, minimally differentiated. In this stage, the blast cells cannot be differentiated from the lymphoblast. That means myeloblast cannot be differentiated from the lymphoblast in the stage of M0. So in this stage, the acute myeloid leukemia can only be diagnosed by immunophenotyping. That means that is the antigenic expressions. Second is the acute myeloblastic leukemia without maturations. Here the blast cells, they undergo maturations, but the maturing cells, that is promyelocyte, metamyelocytes or myelocytes, they are less than 10%. In the M1 stage, we often get the myeloperoxidase granules or MPO stain, but it is less than 3% of the blast cells. Third is the acute myeloblastic leukemia with maturations, that is M2. This is the commonest type. About 40% of cases of acute myeloid leukemia we get in the stage of M2. Here, the maturing myeloid cells are more than 10%. That is, in addition to the blast cells, you will get the maturing promyelocyte, myelocyte, metamyelocyte, and these constitute more than 10%. In this stage, the prominent azurophilic granules are found in the cytoplasm of the blast cells, and the OR rods, that is the condensation of these myeloperoxidase granules, they are found in the M2 stage. Fourth is the acute promyelocytic leukemia or M3 variant. This type of leukemia has got specific translocations, that is translocation 15 and 17. In this type of acute promyelocytic leukemia or acute myeloid leukemia with promyelocytic variant, we get the predominance of promyelocytes. And these promyelocytes may be of hypergranular or hypogranular. And these hypergranular promyelocytes has got the prominent OR rods. This variant of acute promyelocytic leukemia, where it can cytogenetically demonstrate the translocation between chromosome 15 and 17, the targeted chemotherapy has got a beneficial effect. The blast cells in this type of leukemia, they show strong positivity with myeloperoxidase as well as the Sudan black. But the other variant, which I have just told, that is the hypogranular variant, where we have got a confusion regarding the diagnosis of acute promyelocytic leukemia. In this variant, that is the hypogranular variant of M3, we get minimal granules in the cytoplasm. The Sudan black or MPO positivity is very faint. But important diagnostic feature is that the blast cells are usually blast cells show the clipped or bilobed nuclei. So often we have got a confusion whether it is a monocytic leukemia or not. So again we have to take the help of immunophenotyping. So in addition to the immunophenotyping marker that is usually found positivity, that is CD13, 33 and MPO, the most important marker, that is the HLA-DR4, that becomes negative in case of acute promyelocytic leukemia. Fifth variant, that is acute myelomonocytic leukemia. In this variant, in addition to myeloblast, we get the monocytoid cells, that is the monoblast, promonocytes and monocytes, more than 20%, either in the peripheral blood or in the bone marrow. So in addition to 20% myeloblast, if we get the monocytoid cell, that is promonocyte, monocyte and monoblast, more than 20%, then we call it acute myelomonocytic leukemia. Sixth variant, that is acute monocytic leukemia. In acute monocytic leukemia, here the monocytoid cells comprising promonocyte, monocyte and monoblast they constitute more than 80% of bone marrow cells. So acute monocytic leukemia can be again divided in two types, that is acute monoblastic and acute monocytic. In acute monoblastic variant, that is M5A, the predominant cells in the bone marrow are the monoblast. But in acute monocytic leukemia, we will find the mixed population of promonocyte, monocyte and the monoblast. I already told that some of the cells which are blast equivalent. In acute monocytic leukemia, this promonocyte is the cell of blast equivalent. That means blast equivalent means when we will count the blast cells, monoblast, we can count the promonocyte as the blast cells. So in acute monocytic leukemia, this monoblast and the promonocyte can be considered as the blast cells. The seventh variant is the acute erythroleukemia, that is the M6. In acute erythroleukemia, the majority cells will be of erythroblast, that is the immature erythroid cells, and in these cases the proerythroblast can be considered as a blast equivalent. Like promonocyte in monocytic leukemia, the proerythroblast in acute erythroblastic erythroleukemia is considered as the blast equivalent. In this context, I like to mention that according to WHO category and the WHO classifications, there is a term that is a pure erythroleukemia. In pure erythroleukemia, more than 80% marrow cells out of all nucleated cells are erythroblast and proerythroblast, irrespective of count of myeloblast. That means in acute or pure erythroblastic leukemia, the 20% blast myeloblastic count is immaterial. We will have to show more than 80% are immature erythroid cells comprising proerythroblast and erythroblast. Lastly, the acute megakaryocytic leukemia. This acute megakaryocytic leukemia is a leukemic stage. They arise from the megakaryocytic lineage in the bone marrow. The blast cells of acute megakaryocytic leukemia usually found in the peripheral blood, and it looks like often the lymphoblasts. But the morphological differentiations regarding the morphological pattern, these blast cells of acute megakaryocytic leukemia often show the pseudobones or blephs in the surface. So any blast cells having blephs on the surface or pseudopore, we should have a suspicion regarding the acute megakaryocytic leukemia. This variant often found in children suffering from Down syndrome. Just to differentiate from the other variant of leukemia, that is a lymphoblastic leukemia, often we have to take the facility of immunophenotype. That means when we have got a confusion whether it is a blast cells of M7 or it is the lymphoblastic leukemia, we have to take the immunophenotype. Usually acute megakaryocytic leukemia, they show positivity with CD41 and CD61. Another clinical point of view, that is in acute megakaryocytic leukemia, there is enormous bone marrow fibrosis. So in that cases, often we have got a problem regarding the aspiration of the bone marrow. So we have to take the help of bone marrow trephined biopsy. Now this is the current classification of acute myeloid leukemia based on World Health Organization 2016. You will have to know the classifications, the broad classifications. Number one, acute myeloid leukemia with recurrent genetic aberrations. Under this heading, three important genetic aberrations usually found in acute myeloid leukemia are included, of which the translocation 821, that is usually found in M2 variant of acute myeloid leukemia. Second is the translocation 1517, which is found in acute promyelocytic leukemia. And third is the inversion 16, which is found in the acute myelomonocytic leukemia. Again, for your information, I like to mention that acute myeloid leukemia with specific genetic changes has got a significance that we need not to fulfill the criteria of blast cells, that is more 20% equal or more than 20% blast cells, that is the myeloblast. That is the criteria for diagnosis. It's not required. When we get the specific genetic translocations, irrespective of blast cells count either in the bone marrow or in peripheral blood, we may consider it as a acute myeloid leukemia. Second variant, according to WHO classification, that is acute myeloid leukemia with myelodysplastic syndrome-like features. Here, the point is that in these cases, the patient history is important. If the patient is suffering from myelodysplastic syndrome for the last 6 months, or any specific genetic changes characteristics of myelodysplastic syndrome is found in a case of acute myeloid leukemia, then it should be considered as the acute myeloid leukemia with myelodysplastic-like features. Third is the acute myeloid leukemia therapy related. Again, in these cases, the history is important, whether patient had any history of chemotherapy, radiotherapy, etc. Some chemotherapeutic agent is important, that is cyclophosphamide, topoisomerase 2 inhibitor. So you'll have to take the history of any previous chemotherapy or radiotherapy. So whenever we'll get any case of acute myeloid leukemia, we'll have to exclude whether the patient has got any recurrent genetic translocations, whether a patient has got a MDS-like feature or history of any MDS, or whether the patient had any history of chemotherapy or radiotherapy. When all these criteria are excluded, that means we do not get any specific genetic translocations or any MDS-like feature or any history of therapy, then we consider the fourth variant, that is the acute myeloid leukemia of no otherwise specified or NOS. This is the detailed classification of acute myeloid leukemia based on cytogenetics. You can see the three important cytogenetics, that is translocation 821 in version 16 and acute promyelocytic leukemia, that is PML RARA translocations. Second, that is AML with myelodysplastic changes. Third is the therapy related myeloid neoplasm. Lastly, AML with NOS. And myeloid sarcoma is a special condition where the blast cells as well as the maturing myeloid cells are found in the tissue. That is tissue collection of blast cells as well as other maturing cells of myeloid series in the tissue. Regarding the clinical feature, most patients suffer from fatigue, fever, spontaneous mucosal and cutaneous bleeding, cutaneous petechiae and ecchymosis, serosal hemorrhage into the lining of the body cavities, infection in the oral cavity, skin, lung, kidney, urinary, bladder, colon are common. I have already told that acute myeloid leukemia occasionally present as localized soft tissue mass, which is known as myeloblastoma or granulocytic sarcoma or chloroma. This is the picture showing the typical morphology of myeloblast. It is the earliest recognizable cell in the granulocytic maturation process. Size is usually between 15 to 20 micron, large round to oval nucleus, small amount of basophilic cytoplasm. Nucleus contains 2 to 5 nucleoli and nuclear chromatin is a fine and reticular. So you find that the chromatin pattern is extremely important to differentiate the myeloblast and lymphoblast. In case of lymphoblast, the chromatin is condensed, irregularly clumped, but in case of myeloblast, the chromatin is a diffuse, fine and reticular. Regarding the peripheral blood smear, the patient often suffer from thrombocytic normochromic anemia. Total leukocyte count may be low or markedly raised. Blasts are usually present in. So from peripheral blood smear, we will find the normocytic normochromic anemia. Total leukocyte count may be low or markedly raised. Blast cells are usually present in the peripheral blood, but occasionally blasts are entirely absent in the peripheral blood. And this entity is known as the aleutic aleuhemic leukemia, that is without any blast in the peripheral blood. Though there is an enormous blast in the bone marrow, we do not get any blast cells in the peripheral blood. So this is the leukemic stage of leukemia. Thrombocytopenia is commonly present. Regarding the bone marrow picture, the hypercellular marrow, but in older patient marrow may be hypocellular. In general, the diagnostic criteria is that 20% or more myeloblast in the bone marrow. I have already told in some variant of acute myeloblastic leukemia, some cells may be considered as blast equivalent, that is a proerythroblast in case of acute erythroblastic leukemia and flow monocyte in case of acute monocytic leukemia. All rods are distinctive needle-like azurophilic granules which are present in many cases, but particularly very common in acute myeloid leukemia with translocation 15-17, that is acute promyelocytic leukemia. For proper identification of blasts of different lineage, cytochemical staining is important. This is the picture showing the promyelocyte in case of acute promyelocytic leukemia, that is M5. These are the promyelocyte and these cells are considered as the blast equivalent. The first picture A, it is the acute myeloid leukemia monoblastic type. The translocation is the 911. Bone marrow showing several monoblasts, some with abundant cytoplasm. MPO negative azurophilic granules are present. The right side you can find the non-specific esterase reaction showing intensely positive monoblast. This is a bone marrow smear showing the pure erythroid leukemia with numerous very mature erythroid precursor cells. These cells have intensely basophilic cytoplasm and cytoplasmic vacuoles. This is the acute megakaryoblasttic leukemia. The bone marrow as well as the peripheral blood picture. Bone marrow show two megakaryoblast, which are large cells with cytoplasmic pseudopod formations. I have already told that any blast having the cytoplasmic prolongation, pseudopod, or the blebs on the surface, we may consider it is a megakaryoblast. Of course, we will have to confirm by immunophenotyping. On the right side, you can see the cytoplasm of megakaryoblast is intensely reactive with antibody to CD61, that is equivalent to glycoprotein 3A. CD41 is that is equivalent to glycoprotein 2B3A. Regarding the cytochemistry, with careful morphological examination of blood, smear and marrow aspirate, many cases of AML can be correctly diagnosed. Cytochemistry is required if morphological features are equivocal. Myeloperoxidase is used to distinguish acute myeloid leukemia from acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Myeloperoxidase is positive in acute myeloid subtype, that is M1, M2, M3 and M4. Sudan block B positivity is parallel to the myeloperoxidase. Fluoracetate esterase and non-specific esterase both are used in the diagnosis of leukemia with myeloid and monocytic component. This is called double esterase reactions. Non-specific esterase stain monocytic component and fluoracetate esterase stain myeloid component. Non-specific esterase reaction is intensely and diffusely positive in monocytic series and sensitive to sodium chloride. In acute myeloid leukemia of M6 variant or erythroleukemia, and also in acute myeloid leukemia of M7, that is a megakaryocytic leukemia, non-specific esterase reaction is focally positive. Acute myeloid leukemia, especially of M6 subtype, so the periodic acid substance positive. Acute myeloid leukemia of M6 and M7 often show focal positivity to acid phosphatase. This is the picture showing the myeloperoxidase on the left side. Cytoplasm is positive for myeloperoxidase granules. On the right side, you can find the Sudan black positivity, and that is the positivity usually found in the walls of the granule. The fat on the granules, they take the stains of Sudan black. This is the PS positivity, periodic acid substance positivity, especially for the erythroblastic acute erythroblastic leukemia. In some cases of acute megakaryocytic leukemia, it often shows focal positivity. This picture is the phytochemistry known as the non-specific estradiol. It shows positivity to the cells of monocytic lineage. Now regarding the immunophenotyping, we have got the primary panel and we have got the secondary panel. The most important is the primary panel, which is required to distinguish broadly from acute myeloid leukemia from acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Secondary panel is used to diagnose the acute myeloid leukemia of variants, that is monocytoid, erythroid or megakaryocytic lines. You will have to mainly remember the primary panels which are required for myeloid lineage. Under the heading of primary panels, 4 are important: CD13, CD33, CD117 and MPO, that is the myeloperoxidase. Secondary panels, of which CD14 and 64 is used for maturing monocytoid cells. Glycophorin is used to detect the erythroblastic case of acute erythroblastic leukemia, and I have already told CD14 and CD61, that is equivalent to glycoprotein 2B3A and glycoprotein 3A, is used to detect or to confirm the diagnosis of acute megakaryocytic leukemia. Cytogenetics and molecular studies can detect abnormality in leukemic clone. It has got a diagnostic as well as a prognostic significance. It has got the central role in the classification of acute myeloid leukemia on the and it is the basis for World Health Organization classifications. Now the cytogenetic changes with better response to chemotherapy. Number 1 is the inversion 16 or translocation 16-16. Second is the translocation 8-21 and third is the translocation 15 and 17. Inversion 16 usually found in acute myelomonocytic leukemia. Translocation 8-21 usually found in M2 variant of acute myeloblastic leukemia, And third is the translocation 15 and 17 usually found in acute promyelocytic leukemia. Other mutation usually found, that is the NPM1 mutation or CEBPA mutations, which has got a prognostic significance. These are the cytogenetics with poor response to chemotherapy. That is a deletion 5q, deletion 7q, inversion 3, translocation 6 9, translocations 911, translocation 922, as well as the lastly the FLT3 and ITD mutations. So lastly, the AMA, acute myeloid leukemia is generally difficult to treat, but about 60% of patients achieve complete remission with chemotherapy. 15% to 30% remain free of disease for 5 years. With targeted chemotherapy using ATRA, all-translitanic acid, and arsenic salt, acute myeloid leukemia with translocation 15 and 17 now have the best prognosis. As described in the previous slides, cytogenetics changes with good and poor response to chemotherapy. Thank you.